What's good, everybody? We'll wait for a few minutes to have some people trickle into today's impromptu live stream. I figured it's a Monday night, and what better things are there to do than to do a live stream? So let me know. I always have audio issues on these live streams. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. That would be great to know because I always have problems with YouTube Live. Sometimes it even just ends the video and my connection dies. And well, hopefully that doesn't happen again tonight. But every live stream I've done the last couple times has always ended in a poor connection. So let me know if you guys can hear me. See if my chat is working. Okay, here we go. Sweet. So how are you guys doing today? Hopefully you guys are having a good Monday. It is a Monday, so it can only be so good, right? But I figured I'd do a live stream, talk about, well, this is the first one. Hey, Marty Davis. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know that the sound is okay. This is the first live stream with the Bronco on the channel. The last live stream, I was about a week before I took delivery. So I figured it might be a good time to address any questions you guys have about that car. And of course, we still got the Hellcat back there. I do still have the Toyota RAV4. I am in the process of selling it. And my fiance still has her Range Rover. So lots of cars and lots of changes going on in the last few weeks, but nonetheless, all good things, just a lot going on. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the different content. Obviously this one has been prioritized just because there's, not enough content out there. And so trying to get ahead of the curve with putting out a lot of content on the Bronco. But let me know what you guys want to see. Happy to talk about whatever. I mainly just wanted to discuss the big changes on the channel, which is the 2021 Ford Bronco. And that has been exciting. I know I've seen a couple of you at car shows, and you guys have come up to me and seen the car in person. It's definitely something you got to see in person because it's a head turner for sure. It's massive. I can barely fit it into the garage. And as a matter of fact, I have to bend that antenna when I'm going over or underneath this pillar so that it doesn't, smack and hit the pillar. So that's kind of an update on how massive this car is. Caden, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining. Me and Caden are going to hit the trail in Farmington here in the next little bit, and that will be in the Bronco. It's from what he's told me, it's a pretty easy trail. So nothing crazy, just kind of like a scenic off-road dirt path, but that will be fun because I would never risk doing that in the Hellcat. But Marty Davis, I had a Dodge question: lowering springs versus coilovers. It depends. I don't have experience with either one, and the main reason I don't is because on both of those you sacrifice the comfort of the vehicle. And so it's going to ride a lot rougher. Now, I don't know which specific model of Dodge that you have. If it already has the race suspension on it, it's already kind of stiff, especially on the Hellcat in track mode. It is a rough drive. And so I can't imagine, having lowering springs or coilovers that, I don't know. That's totally up to you. If you have maybe a GT or an SXT, those ride a little bit higher. And so you may not sacrifice as much, but I have yet to meet one person who has done either one and said that their ride quality isn't compromised. 2021 wide body shaker. So it's already got a pretty good, I'm guessing, let me know if it's the Scat Pack or the 6.4 or if it's the 5.7. But in either case, the wide body already has kind of a more a sport-oriented suspension. And so, it's up to you if you Scat 6.4. So yeah, it's already got a pretty good suspension on it. And so it's only going to get stiffer. If you're okay with that, I think, either one of those would work for you. So Caden, you said, I've heard coilovers are a little better since it's adjustable versus lowering springs, where it's one more still, since it's a set height on the springs. I don't want to lose ADP. Remind me what that is. I might not be aware of that acronym. Gary Fuller, love the Bronco in the background. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning into this live stream. I appreciate seeing your comments on the videos. Yeah, Marty, it's, like Caden said, the coilovers have adjustable type of, settings to it versus lowering springs. That makes sense. You don't want to lose the dynamic suspension. Yeah, it's tough when you go to adjusting a wide body. You already have a suspension that's set for a certain type of street or racing condition, and doing the coilovers or the lowering springs, that's more of an aesthetic choice, I would say, than a performance choice. I don't think you're going to get a much better handling vehicle if you do want either one of those things, but it's going to look a lot better. I'm not a huge proponent of airbags. I think that airbags look beautiful, especially when the car is sitting there and it's lowered. But every person I know that has airbags, it leaks. And so it's an expensive addition that's mainly for aesthetics. But, everybody has their own things. I spend money on bunches, dumb cars. So if you spend it on airbags, no judgment there for sure. But I was going to do air ride, but worry about maintenance and longevity. Oh, see, so Marty, you're pointing out exactly what I was saying. I just don't know. Yeah, airbags, I would not probably go with, just because the maintenance on those things, and every, I think, like 2 years, one of the airbags or maybe more will go out. And so regardless of what brand you go with, and so, that's an expensive thing to consistently have to change every 2 years. So between, that and coilovers or lowering springs, yeah, probably coilovers will give you a little bit, Caden pointed out, a little bit more flexibility, but I don't know if you're going to win that much in terms of handling. So take that for what it's worth from a person who hasn't done either one. So that's why I don't want to speak on it, but that's my kind of judgment on it. But yeah, we've got the Bronco in the back. Like I said earlier, it is massive, and it's fun for you guys to see see these at car shows. If you have seen me in person, I know Caden has, you guys have seen the car in person. Marty Davis, did you ever contemplate electric cutouts for the exhaust? I did. I actually have a buddy on YouTube, Fast Gatto. I think I've talked about him before. He did cutouts on his Hellcat, and take it for what it's worth, but he ended up damaging it just going over a speed bump. I think he took it on a road trip from where he lives in Arizona to Vegas, and along the way, just because of road debris or speed bumps, it ended up damaging the cutouts. And I don't believe his car is lowered. It might be lowered an inch or two, but I don't think it is. I think it's just the stock Hellcat suspension, and the cutouts were damaged. Now, maybe the mechanic that did the installation didn't do a great job, installing them. Maybe they were a little bit too far down, and for that reason, it damaged it. But I'm skeptical on that. I do think that the result or the feature that it adds is really cool, because you can push a button and the valves open up and you get a beautiful sound. And then when it's annoying, you can shut it off. But I tend to stay away from it, because here in Utah, we already have really large curbs, speed bumps, and I could see that easily being an issue with it just, dinging it and breaking it. And then when that happens, the sound that comes out of the car, and he made a video of it, is just atrocious, because it's like half open, half closed, or one of them's open, one of them's closed. So it's just not a great experience. Gary Fuller, smack that like button. Thank you so much, my man. I appreciate it. Yes, if you haven't hit that like button, that helps the channel. If you enjoy the content, obviously don't do it if, just to please me, but if you enjoy the content, I do appreciate that like button on my videos. Marty Davis, I hear stories of leaking and rattling. Yeah, I mean, they're not foolproof. I think, some of the manufacturers produce somewhat kind of like a exhaust cutout where, the AMG button or the AMG cars have a button where it'll regulate the amount of exhaust sound. I think I trust that more than doing an aftermarket cutout system. But I guess if you find a good shop that can do the work well, then go for it. But I just don't know how many people know how to do that the correct way, or have a product that does it the correct way. Canadian RT, hey man, how's it going? What is going on, Canadian RT? If you guys haven't checked out, he does have a YouTube channel, so check out. He's got a B5 blue, I believe it's a Scat Pack if I'm not mistaken, but he started the channel pretty recently, but he's rocking it. So keep doing the videos. And great content, man. I haven't caught the last couple of videos, but I did catch some of the earlier ones, and great stuff. Especially, starting YouTube channel is the hardest part. I think once you're in it, it's easier. And so, good for you for starting it, and keep it coming because your content is really good. Caden, horror stories of bags going out on the highway. You risk one popping at any point on the freeway speeds, and bags pop, frame twists. That I didn't even think about that happening, but yeah, that's a good point. I always think about, the bag will go out when you're just, sitting in a parking lot, but that is very dangerous. And, even when we're talking about airbags that come from the manufacturer, Mercedes has the big SUVs with the airbags and stuff. Those things go out too. So it's not just aftermarket ones. Those ones, they may last a little bit longer, but they're probably going to be more expensive to replace. Those airbags leak as well. And so I just don't know if either the technology is there or if, it's kind of built that way. So you consistently have to replace the airbags, but it's just not a great system in my opinion. Eng Ismail Sali. Hopefully I said your name right, my man. I got a question if you don't mind. I have a great budget and I'm not quite sure. Should I go for the Challenger SRT Hellcat or Ford Bronco first edition? Nice. You have it both. Yeah. I will say this isn't the first edition, so it's not the most, it's one of the cheaper Broncos actually. That's kind of how I wanted to keep it that way because then it's just too expensive. It's a great question. It really depends on what you want. They're two different cars. If you live in an area where you need all-wheel drive, or you drive it in the snow and stuff like that, I would definitely recommend the Bronco. The Challenger is kind of useless in the wintertime. I don't really drive it. You can throw on snow tires and Blizzaks and be maybe okay, but the Hellcat loses grip on 95-degree weather going to like 30 miles an hour, and sometimes it's frustrating. But the Bronco is a totally different type of vehicle. It's definitely more spacious. So I guess it depends on what you want. Do you want something that they're both going to turn heads? I think the Hellcat will turn heads maybe more often. The Bronco right now turns heads because nobody's really seen it in person, but give it a year or two and that's going to kind of fade. I still get a lot of attention on the Hellcat, even though it's been out for like 6-7 years at this point. So both are really cool looking cars, but they have very different purposes. And the stuff I do on the Bronco, I would never do on the Hellcat, and vice versa. I'm never going to take the Bronco to a drag strip. Now, you may want to hold out. There's rumors that they're putting a big V8. I think they're going to call it the Warthog or something in the Bronco. I don't know how realistic that is with the direction of where emissions and gas mileage and everything is going. I don't know if they're actually going to do that, but they may release a V8 version of the Bronco, or maybe they have a twin turbocharged V6, but maybe a more higher output twin turbocharged V6 or supercharged V6. Then that will give you kind of a little bit of power and also the off-road capability. So kind of up to you. Canadian RT, I missed your comment. Appreciate it. No, not a problem, man. Keep doing what you're doing. PBR Doug, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining today's live stream. It's always good seeing you join. Hey, love your Bronco. Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys do like, I know I've been kind of taking over the channel with the Bronco content. Over time, that's going to balance out with the Challenger Hellcat. But right now, it's just such a new car, and I'm just trying to get as much content as I can out there to grow the channel. So I apologize if sometimes the Bronco content is not what you were looking for. But I think, being a car enthusiast, just having something new and cool is fun to look at. So Gary Fuller, any truth to Dodge coming out with a Ram Charger to compete with the Bronco? I did see like a rendering of that. I don't know if they will. I mean, they Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, they have the Wrangler, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to continue to beat the Ford with just little things that they add to the Wrangler. I don't think they're going to create a whole new body style and a Ram Charger like they did back. I think it was the 80s is when they had them, maybe the 70s. I could be mistaken, but those looked very similar to a Bronco and they competed. I just don't know if they're going to invest the money into that. It seems to me that Jeep at least is going kind of in the more premium market with that Grand Wagoneer being, over $100,000. And even the Grand Cherokee, they're making it more kind of like a luxury car. I think they're going to keep the Wrangler as is, but they're going to add little things that make it more capable and better than the Bronco. Because right now the Bronco's kind of caught up, in my opinion, maybe in some ways a little bit better on-road, off-road, debatable. I think the Wrangler is still probably a little bit more capable. But, that's kind of the starting point, and now Wrangler can add on to it. And so it's going to be good to have that competition, but I don't think they're going to come out with a Ram Charger, but I could be wrong. Caden, future modification plans for the Bronco. Yes. So, kind of waiting for the sale of the Toyota and maybe using some of that money to put some modifications on the car. I definitely want to get some beefier wheels and tires. Don't get me wrong. I like the ones that come on the Big Bend, but they're just not like, they're not as small as some of the ones that come on the four-door Wrangler Sport, where it's just like super skinny tires, super low to the ground. They did a pretty good job with it, but I have seen photos, and even the Sasquatch package, the wheels and tires that come on those are much more beefy, aggressive, cool looking. That's what I'm going to be doing. I do plan to probably add like a steel bumper to the front, maybe add a winch, and then maybe some decals here and there. So making it a little bit more kind of personalized and unique. So I do have plans to do all of that stuff. The question is when, and it depends on how everything lays out. But over the next few months, I think one of my first goals is probably wheels and tires, just because that way I get to enjoy it, especially before winter comes. But so I do have some plans for that. Umesh Singh, hopefully I said your name right. Hi, how's it going? Why did you choose the Bronco instead of the Wrangler? Very good question, and I will make a video of this in the future. One of the main reasons is because here in Utah, Wranglers are a dime a dozen. Everybody has one. You can probably spot like 6 or 7 every single time you just run to the grocery store. They're very popular cars here. There's a lot of off-road trails. There's a lot of snow here, so people enjoy having those cars. And so I just, the Wrangler's been out for so long. I didn't want to just get a Wrangler, just, be like kind of every other person here in Utah. I wanted something a little bit more unique. And, the Bronco, when it came out, when they did the announcement video, July of 2020, I really fell in love with the looks of it. I didn't actually consider even I didn't know what I was going to do after the Toyota. I was thinking either I'd keep it or get something else. But then, the Bronco came out and I loved the way it looked. It looked really retro. And, I talk about this actually in a video I'm posting tomorrow, but I'm a sucker for new cars that look retro. That's why I love the Hellcat. Just looks very similar to the 70s Challengers. And I think this pays really good, tribute to the old late 60s Broncos. And so when I saw it, I was like, okay, this could be a really good opportunity. If I'm able to be one of the early ones on YouTube to talk about the Bronco, get it out there, it'd be a good growth opportunity. And it's something different that nobody's ever seen before. I mean, the attention this thing gets at car shows is really cool. And that's one of the couple reasons why I decided to get the Bronco. Gary Fuller, Ford did a great job with bringing back some retro look to it. The Bronco, love your color choice. I think they really did do a good job. I'm not biased towards Ford, Dodge, and Chevy. Obviously, a little biased towards Dodge because I've owned one for so long, and I really love what they've done with the brand. And I think some of the other manufacturers like Ford and Chevy have realized people like some of these retro-looking cars. And that may have been, and this is just a hypothesis. There's no facts to back this up. But, I think that's one of the reasons why they probably wanted to create something that looks more retro, because a lot of people bring up the Chevy Blazer. It's a cool looking crossover, but it doesn't really pay tribute at all to any of the old Blazers. And it's not, the hottest selling car of the year. And the Bronco is. So, maybe Chevy will come out with some sort of competitor. Maybe they'll make a new Blazer that actually looks more like, an off-road capable vehicle. But I think that's kind of what Ford did. And they took note and they did their research. And I think it was successful. I mean, it is probably the most popular SUV of the year. And the color choice is Area 51. I love that. It's, during the ordering process, it was very difficult on the website to figure out what image actually, in the stock photos or the computer generated photos, it was hard to tell what color that the image is showing. You would see this Area 51 color and it would look really sky blue, like really, really light blue. And then in others, it would look dark blue. And then there's the cactus gray, which the Ford website builder, it would actually change back in like February or March to reflect a more accurate cactus gray. I mean, it was just kind of hard to decide on colors because what you see on the screen was not exactly what you would get. And I took a kind of a leap of faith with the Area 51 because it's kind of got that pastel color to it. And I love it. It is my favorite color of the lineup. I have seen Cactus Gray. That was my second choice, but I prefer the Area 51. That's just my personal opinion. Let's see. Thoughts on the Umesh Singh. Thank you. Nice choice. Okay. Looks like we got some spam here. Wreck your car right now. That's pretty funny. Let's see. Let me block this person. I don't know who this person is. It's kind of funny though. And then we've got, let's see, thoughts on the Red-Eye Charger Caden. I think it's awesome. I mean, I don't know where they're going to take it from here. Are they going to make a Charger, a Demon Charger? Maybe, very possible. But I like it. And my only complaint with it is, and this has been the auto industry in general over the last, 3 or 4 months, the markups that dealerships are charging for any Dodge Challenger or Charger, but especially the Red-Eye. I mean, people are, the Charger Red-Eyes, there's so few of them out there that they're selling for over $100,000. And I do think probably the engine is worth that, but give it a year and that car is going to come back to, it's like 80,000 or something. But that is something I have an issue with. And I get supply and demand. I get that that's kind of how capitalism works. But the problem is the dealerships, are totally separated from the manufacturer. And that's where you get that disconnect. And there are some dealerships out there that are honest, or I guess that are more consumer friendly. But that's probably the biggest problem right now with these Red-Eye Chargers is anyone you see is probably way above MSRP. But that goes with a lot of different cars as well on today's market. I mean, you can't really find, a year ago, a used Hellcat was maybe, high 40s, low 50s, now they're in the 60s or 70s used. So it's kind of crazy. A new Scat Pack, you'll pay over $50,000-$60,000 easy, when a year ago you could get a slightly used, maybe even a new Hellcat for the same price. So that's unfortunate. It should stabilize over time. They're saying that the chip shortage will probably leak into early next year. And who knows if there's more shutdowns or closures in terms of factories. If factories shut down, I don't think we're all going to shut down again, but if factories shut down again, that will affect supply, which will also increase prices. So crazy world to live in right now. Eng Ismail Salih, thank you for answering my question. Not a problem, man. What's your opinion about announcement of Dodge for electric Challenger? Are you going for it in future? I appreciate your answers. Yeah, that's a really good question, man. My last live stream, that was kind of my main topic for that live. I'm okay with it. I know I'm the minority here because a lot of people, especially these muscle car owners, they do not want electric, even just a little bit. I heard a rumor that Dodge may be doing a plug-in hybrid or some type of powertrain where it's, you have, it looks like my fiance came in here. How's it going? You're getting a bunch of spam again. Oh, really? Am I getting spam? Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, get your knife and slice your neck, TikTok. Wow. That's okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for letting me know. We'll remove these people. But yeah, they announced the other day that they may make a plug-in hybrid type of Challenger. And I think that's a good progression. I was a little skeptical about them jumping from what they have now to fully electric, because I think there's going to be some kinks in it. But if they progressively move into the hybrid section where maybe they have an all-wheel drive Hellcat with the front wheels powered by, say a battery, and the rear wheels are powered by the internal combustion engine, that would be pretty cool. I just think in order to compete with a lot of these powerful cars like the Tesla, I mean, the 0 to 60 on those cars is unbeatable. In order to compete like that, they're probably going to have to go electric. And even though that means we're not going to have the sound, we're not going to have manual transmissions, I do think there's going to be a place for those types of cars. I don't think they're going to disappear entirely. But, I think the demand will dictate what the manufacturers make. And if more people are going to be buying electric cars, already nobody's really buying manual cars. So that's kind of dictating where the industry is going. And electric is impressive. If you've never driven one, that instant torque is kind of intoxicating. It's like a roller coaster. You can even get really motion sick. I have in the past myself. So I'm open to it, but I think it has to be done well. We don't want boring cars. We don't want, just regular commuters with, no steering wheels, nothing like that. But I think Dodge will continue to have some cool features and technology with their muscle cars, but at the same time electrifying their vehicles. So hopefully that helps. Gary Fuller, I agree. If they made the Blazer Retro, it would have big sales. It really would, and they would have beaten the Bronco by like 2 years. At that point, I think the Bronco was, I think in 2017 is when, or maybe 18 is when Ford announced like a teaser that they're bringing the Bronco back. At that point, the Blazer was pretty much about to be released. And so they could have had a big advantage on the Bronco, and they just didn't take advantage of that. So we'll see what happens. But I feel like Chevy's kind of missed the ball on a few things with, for one, the Camaro sales are slumping. I think the Camaro is a very, very cool car. I don't love what they did with the redesign a few years ago, but I don't think they're investing their resources in the Camaro because it's, nobody's buying coupes anymore except the Dodge Challenger, and even the Mustang still sells well. And at the same time, their SUV audience is more crossover, kind of daily driver stuff. They're not making these type of enthusiast cars. Aside from the C8 Corvette, which, is an amazing vehicle, and that kind of stands on its own. And that has seen demand that's, rivaled the Bronco. But aside from that, Ford is developing a lot of new cars. You got the Mustang Mach-E, whether you like it or not. You've got the F-150 Lightning, and they have the Maverick coming out. And so they're really trying to innovate and keep up. And, maybe I just don't keep track with Chevy as much, but doesn't seem like they're releasing as many new things. And the Hummer EV is one of them. But it seems like they're more spaced out in their new releases. Let's see. Don't wreck it. Yes, thank you. Princess Chelsea was very adamant about me wrecking my car. So, Beck, very nice. I wish I could afford that. It all takes. It's a process, man. Like, a few years ago, I didn't think I could afford it either. Obviously YouTube helps, and I've talked about kind of what I do for a living, but the first part is setting that goal. And if that's really what you want, for me, I'm obsessed with cars, so I tend not to spend money on other stuff. But if a specific car is what you want, I'm sure if you set your mind to it, you're going to get it. It just depends on if that's what you want, because maybe it isn't, because cars are a horrible investment. So take it from me. 392 Mopar, love your videos, brother. Thank you so much, 392 Mopar. Thank you for watching them. I appreciate it. Hopefully it's entertaining or informative or something. Let's see. Marty Davis, 30 Gs for 200 horsepower is a waste. Twin turbos. Remind me what car you're talking about. I may have forgotten what vehicle we were mentioning, whether that was the Bronco or maybe something else. But let me know. You can order a new Scat Pack for the low 50s. Brand new ordered. Yes, you can. And I actually have some friends that are looking to buy a Scat Pack, and they want to get it now. The ordering process takes, from my understanding, 3 to 4 months. And so, yeah, you definitely can. They're just harder to find. And if you're looking at inventory that's already on the lots, you're most likely going to be paying more than $50,000. And you can easily get over $60,000 for a Scat Pack. Caden Dyer, man, the spammers got nothing better to do. Yeah, seriously. It's funny. So it was another Princess Thea channel. So yeah, you avoid those ones. Is it a good first car? ABBA 2, is it worth it? I'm wondering if you're talking about the Bronco. Let me know if you're talking about a different vehicle. To me, it is. I mean, it's what I like about the Bronco is they took, Ford took kind of what the Wrangler does, but made it more street ready in a sense. You got independent front suspension. It's a little bit easier or softer to drive. It's not as harsh. And also the safety features that they put on this car. When you have, according to like the National Highway, Safety Administration, I guess if you have removable doors or if it's like an off-road capable vehicle, you don't have to follow the same type of safety kind of requirements as you do if you're just like a regular crossover SUV. And so what's nice is, my understanding from what I've read on the forums is the reason the Wrangler actually weighs more, or the reason the Bronco weighs more than the Wrangler is because Ford designed the safety of this vehicle as if it is a car that does not have removable doors. It didn't try to go around that requirement. And so it's a safer car than the Wrangler. Now, I don't know what the crash test ratings are. I don't think they've been released, but on paper, it should be safer. The only thing is gas mileage is not great. I have about 600 miles on the car, and the gas mileage is around 20.2 miles per gallon, and that's a mix of city and highway. So it's not great, especially for a 2.3 liter turbo. But for a car that I think weighs like 5,500 pounds, it's not too bad. Quick side note, Gary Fuller, thank you so much for the super chat of $4.99. Love your Hellraise and Hellcat as well. Thank you so much. That is the car that built the channel. So, or I should say, the Challenger is the one that built the channel. But thank you for joining. Thank you for that super chat. So, yeah, Abba, too, to answer your question, it's just gas mileage. And in today's gas prices, take that for what it's worth. Let's see. Limitless Vlogs. Thanks for joining, man. Late rip. I was on my computer. No worries, man. We're not too far into the live stream. It was great meeting you the other day, finally, for the first time in person at the car show. So thanks for joining. Abatu, I drive a Dodge Ram 2006 2500 Mega Cab. So, I talked about this in the last video, and a lot of people hated that video, but I talked about the towing capacity being kind of low, in my opinion, on the Bronco. Now, it's the same as the Wrangler. It's 3,500 pounds, but you would kind of hope, or you would think, that this car has better towing capacity. Now, I understand it's because the transmission's a little bit different than the Ford Ranger. It's got a different type of suspension, so there's physics limitations to this car. But that being said, there are other off-road capable vehicles that have better towing. The 4Runner is an example. It's also very capable, and it can tow 5,000 pounds. And so if you're coming from a 2,500, man, that can tow a hell of a lot more than the Bronco. And so if you're good with that, then I think otherwise it's probably a similar ride height. You ride pretty high up off the road. You have a commanding view. It's really cool, and I recommend it. Any plans to bring monthly build features? Caden, yeah, I used to do a Mopar of the month, as I'm sure you know, and then COVID hit. And then obviously, nobody really wanted to meet up. And so I've been trying to get some features on the channel, but nobody's really biting. So if your car is willing to be on the channel, you've got a really awesome RT Charger, beautiful looking car. If you don't mind being on the channel, I would love to film your car and post it on my, Mopar of the month, which has been like 6 months or 8 months without one. But yeah, I would love to do that. Let's see. Marty Davis, Hellcat dealership wanted an extra 30 grand for 200 horsepower. You can do twin turbos so far for far less and have way more horsepower. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, for the Red Eyes and the Hellcats, they're doing such high markups. And even on the used car market, I mean, if I had known, I wish I would have kept my Scat Pack and sold it today, but then I wouldn't have been able to get a good deal on the Hellcat. So, we don't have a crystal ball, but it is crazy how much they're charging. But people are out there with money and they're willing to spend it. I'll talk about how much I paid for this car in maybe my next video or the video after that. But I was adamant about not wanting to pay over MSRP. And the hard part was the dealership had all the negotiating power. They have the hottest SUV of the year. And, here I am saying, give it to me at MSRP or less. We ended up getting it to work, thankfully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, it all worked out. But it was a little bit of a stressful process. I've never bought a car that way. And, right now there's so many people out there with money. They could have easily come in and swapped this car with $10,000 or taking this car with $10,000 over what I was paying. So that's kind of where it's at. Abatu, yeah, the Bronco. Yeah, I think daily, for a first car, I think it is. It's definitely comfortable. Like I said, safety features, everything works really well. So I don't see why not. Depends, I guess, on what you want out of your first car, but I would recommend it. Brian O'Shea, hey, what's good, man? Thank you for joining. I know you've been watching a lot of my videos recently, so thanks for checking it out. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're on the East Coast, so it's a little bit later over there where you're at. I miss my Wrangler. Owned 8 or 9 of them in my life. You're 46. Bronco looks like a very capable vehicle. Time will tell. Hopefully the aftermarket accessories will be the same as the Wrangler. Oh, like how the mirrors stay put when they take the doors off. Beats my 99-cent bike mirror in the hinges. LOL. Yeah. I am excited for the aftermarket too. I'm even looking at, like I said earlier, upgrading my wheels and tires. And, luckily it's the same offset and bolt pattern, or I should say, sorry, it's the same bolt pattern as the Ranger. And that has been around for a lot longer. So there's some options out there, but a lot of these websites don't have too many Bronco options yet because it's such a new vehicle. And, slowly every day I'm seeing some new stuff pop up on forums of companies that are creating new types of accessories and gadgets. But I think in the next 6 to 12 months is when you're really going to start seeing a lot of them. I'm even waiting to buy. There's this kind of mount on the dashboard where you can attach a bunch of different cameras and phones. From my understanding, that mount has not been released yet, and Four Wheel Parts is supposed to be doing that, and I have not seen that come out yet. So hopefully these things start rolling out, and you actually have some really cool off-road accessories that you can add on to the Bronco to compete with the Wrangler, because right now the Wrangler has so much in the aftermarket world because it's been out for so long that it's really hard to compete with. And yeah, the mirrors are really nice. They stay on. I have yet to take the doors off. I've been meaning to, but a few reasons I haven't is we have really horrible pollution right now. Like, it is actually the worst in the world as of last Friday. I think Russia had a fire on Saturday and it took the first place spot, but we have had such horrible air. And I park it outside, so I don't want to take the doors off and have all the dust and all the, kind of people rummaging around in it. So I will make a video about me taking the doors off and probably taking it on a trail, but I have yet to do that. But when you do that, take off the doors, the mirrors do stay on, which is a nice feature. Although you could just get like a small little bike mirror like Brian does and hook it up to your Wrangler. And Brian, remind me if you drive a Dodge Challenger now. Maybe not, but I know I think you have some sort of Mopar product right now. Limitless Vlogs, fun fact, cops even like the Hellcat more than some R8s and Lamborghinis. Yeah, so Limitless Vlogs is referring to, we were at this car show on Saturday, and really big cars and coffee, Lambos, McLarens, I mean, so many cool cars. And this police officer pulls up of the entire parking lot, pretty much like 10 feet away from my car, and comes out to look at the Hellcat, not even the Bronco. He came to look at the Hellcat, and everybody was kind of jittery at first because they thought, somebody's getting a ticket or something. But he was a really cool guy. He came out and he was really cool. He was like, I'm a car guy. I used to, do a lot of stuff to cars. I just want to check out the cool cars around here. So it was pretty funny to see that. And then he even made a joke as he was driving off about how, his car is faster than half the cars in that car show. So it was pretty funny to see that from a police officer, and really cool to see him come by. But I'm glad he came to see my vehicle. Let's see. Sorry, I know I'm a little bit behind on these comments. I apologize about that, but trying to get there. Let's see. Limitless, Brian O'Shea, can the front windshield of the Bronco fold down? The answer is no. That is one disadvantage for sure. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that the mirrors kind of attached to the front, right in front of the windshield. And so it does not fold down. And that is a disadvantage. I know that the new Wrangler, the JL, I think, that one makes it pretty easy to fold it down. So that could be a reason for somebody not to want to purchase the Bronco. Let's see. Gary Fuller. Wow, my Challenger Scat is 4,200 pounds. What a boat. LOL. Yeah, it is. I think the Hellcat the wide body might be 4,500 pounds. So it is insanely heavy, but nonetheless, pretty fun. I like it. It's, I imagine the more weight, the better it is in a car accident. I hope. Otherwise, it's kind of just a waste of space. Umesh Singh, what is your favorite car to date that you have owned? That is a good question. I did want to make a video about this in the future. For some reason, my Destroyer Gray Scat Pack still has a special place in my heart. And I can't even explain why. Like the Hellcat is in all aspects a better vehicle, but I love that car. I don't know if it was because I had wanted a Challenger for so long before I owned it. And so when I finally took delivery, or I bought it used, actually, I didn't even take delivery. I just picked it up. But that was kind of a cool moment. And I still miss that car. Now, I don't think that it's worse than the Hellcat or anything, but I think the Scat Pack probably holds the number one spot. And then the Hellcat is kind of, representative of the brand, of the channel. I really love that car. And so far, the Bronco has been really fun. It's funny. I think my fiance loves this car more than I do. Like, she's driven it a ton. Every time we go out, she's like, well, let's take the Bronco. And I always let her drive it. And she loves it. And she comes from a Jeep Wrangler. She used to own that before it was totaled. And so I think that's why she likes these types of off-road vehicles. So she's even talking about, maybe her next car, maybe she'll get the Bronco. She'll take it over for me, or maybe she'll get a Defender or something like that, something off-road capable. But we'll see. But yeah, it has to go to the Scat Pack. Let's see. Brian, you said, and the Abdallah guy that said your voice is annoying is I don't know if I say that word, it's going to block me on YouTube, but thank you. Screw him. You're doing great. Hey, I really appreciate that, man. Yeah. Brian's referring to a comment on a video that the last video I made where I talked about things I hate about the car. And, it's funny. The hate videos, I don't mean to attack anybody personally. Honestly, the hate is kind of like a clickbait because, I don't hate anything about this car. There are things that are, rooms for improvement. And the way YouTube works is you kind of have to be dramatic and say hate for anybody to click on it. And, the fact is that video is doing really well in terms of views. And if I didn't put hate, I don't know if people would click on it. But nonetheless, there is, a lot of comments, mixed comments on that channel, on that video. And I think he's referring to one individual that, yes, thank you. I appreciate your support, man. And, there's always room for improvement on my channel. Obviously I get heated on some comments, but it's a process and I need to do a better job. And, it's nice when there's constructive criticism in the commentary. Caden, I'd be down to let me get aesthetics where I want to first and few small things fixed. That works, man. I know I'm not going to announce what you want to do on the hood of your car, but I'm excited to see it. So yeah, whenever your car is ready, I'm happy to do a feature of your Mopar. It's a really cool looking car. Brian O'Shea at 1040. Yeah, man. Thanks for staying tuned in. Yeah, we have to contend with snow here. It means less soft tops. Yeah, it's true. One thing I kind of regret, and this is kind of a pro and con, is mine is the soft top, which is one of the reasons why I was able to get it early because I was not a day one reservation holder, and I'll talk about that in future videos. I was not sitting there the day they announced it and clicked reserve. I was, if my memory doesn't fail me, I was about a week later, and so I knew the odds weren't stacked up, for me to get it as one of the earliest ones. So I had to pick certain features that I knew were in higher supply. For example, the manual transmission is in low supply, the Sasquatch package, low supply, and that goes along with the hardtop. And so I opted for the soft top mainly because it was a lower price point. I didn't want to make this car super expensive, but I also have never had a soft top. I like the idea of just popping it open. And so far, I've really enjoyed it. But in the wintertime, it may get difficult, especially because I'm going to be parking this car outside. Now, I have remote start, which is nice. That means I can turn it on inside the house. But time will tell how the soft top holds up to all of the conditions that go on. And the bad part is if my car was built as of September or October, it would come pre-wired for a hardtop. And what I mean by that is that the heating element in the rear windshield and the rear windshield wiper. The problem is mine does not come with pre-wired with that wiring harness because it's too early. And so if I do add a hardtop in the future, either I have to do the wiring myself or I just won't attach a wiper or have a heated windshield, which is not the worst thing that can happen. But something to keep in mind if you do get a soft top and you happen to push it out maybe till the September production day, you will have that wiring harness pre-wired in your vehicle. Umesh Singh, it's 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday in India. Well, thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. You're about 12 hours ahead of me. So impressive. Thank you for joining. Let's see. Brian O'Shea, love the power port on the dash for accessories. That is really nice. Wrangler been out since 1941. Yep. They have a lot more experience. The Bronco has been a very capable off-roader. But, arguably you can't take that away from the Wrangler. And TFL car did, or TFL truck, I don't know. They have so many different channels. They did a really good video comparing the Wrangler. It was a 4xe versus a Bronco with the Sasquatch versus a Defender. They have like a 3-part series. They did a really good job showing the articulation of the Bronco versus the Wrangler and the capabilities. I'm not going to spoil it. You guys can watch the video. Very capable. Is it more capable than a Wrangler? I don't know. In all of the instances I'm going to use the Bronco, it's going to be plenty enough. That's why I do not have a locker on this car. A locker is helpful if you're, doing really heavy rock crawling. I don't plan to do that. I do plan to take it on trails and take it off-roading, but nothing crazy. And so for me, it's more than enough, but it's something to keep in mind. Let's see. Abatu, also, what's up with the used car in Orange County, Cali market? With used Challengers and Chargers, I was wanting to get a Challenger RT, but looks like might as well get a new one. Yeah, in today's market, it's almost better or cheaper to buy a new vehicle than it is used. That's what I was kind of running up against when I was looking at the Hellcat back in October. It's just kind of a crazy market. The hard part is finding inventory if you're looking for a new car. Sometimes you got to settle with what they have, or you can order it. It depends on the dealership. When you do the ordering process, they shouldn't have a markup when the vehicle comes in, but technically the dealership owns that inventory. And so even though you ordered it, they could technically still have a markup on the car. Hopefully that is not the case, but just, it depends, I guess, on the dealership. Brian O'Shea, keep that lovely Bronco garaged. You are buying a Bronco. Congrats, man. I did not know that. So that is awesome news. And I wish I could, man, but the fiance's car, she's got to be in here because I can't take up the whole garage, man. I gotta have at least one. I got to give at least one space away, or I need to buy a house that just has like more garage, but that's incredibly expensive. I am going to probably put a little carport outside though, so that the car is not exposed to the elements. Obviously it will on the sides, but at the top, it won't get any snow on it. So that's going to be a project here in the next couple months. I probably won't make a video about it because it doesn't really matter, but I will have it covered. So at least that will help. Brian O'Shea, Limitless Vlogs, the RX-7 did it. Yes, that RX-7 was popping at that car show. It was making really loud sounds. Brian O'Shea, retired cop here. We love cars and we know how fast Challengers are. We don't bother chasing them. Just means two dangerous drivers on the road. I did know that you are a retired cop. So yeah, I mean, there's, I love seeing police officers at car shows. We've had some events, Mopar meets where they've pulled up and just wanted to check out all the cool cars. Everybody's human. You just want to see cool cars. Just because you're driving a police car doesn't mean you're coming over to arrest somebody. But it's fun to see. It's just, you don't expect it. You're used to being on the other end of that speeding ticket that you expect you're going to get a ticket. But it's fun to see that. Caden, that dog doo-doo at the Cars and Coffee though. Yeah, that was disgusting. So, just a PSA, if you have a dog, just pick up after their crap. I mean, there was an individual that, they had their dog at the car show and it's a puppy. I don't blame it. It just happened to, do its business on the asphalt and they did not pick it up. And so people were, stepping on this and it's just horrible. And it just ruins events like this when you have a lot of people coming around. Dominic Tedesco used to hate the new Bronco. You've kind of sold me on it now. Well, I'm glad. We should contact Ford and let them know. But I wonder if it's because, and a lot of people actually confuse the Bronco with the Bronco Sport. And I'm not saying you might have. You probably knew that they were two different. But for example, at a car show last Saturday, I was at I had this car parked and a couple people came up and asked, wait, is this the Bronco Sport or is this, this one looks bigger? And I do think the Ford maybe didn't think ahead when they called the Bronco Sport with big letters on the back, Bronco with a little bit saying Sport. I think they may have done injustice to this one because they are two different vehicles. They're two different platforms. One's a body on frame. The other one's a unibody construction. And so I had a lot of people when I posted my first videos of the Broncos saying, well, what are you talking about? It's not the first one. There's been I've seen a million out on the roads here in, Texas or something. And those are two different cars. And so, the Bronco sold me because of the looks, first and foremost. I really loved just the aesthetics of the car, that retro look to it. And, then obviously after I hit reserve, I was like, well, maybe I'll order it. Maybe I won't. And then when I started hearing more and more information about this car, it just was more and more impressive to me. I've always wanted a big brawny SUV. I used to love the FJ Cruiser. I even liked like the Ford Expeditions and the H2 Hummers. When I was a kid, those were like my dream cars. This was kind of an ability, or this was kind of the moment for me to be able to get a car like this. And so it all worked out. But I'm excited to make more new content and talk about it because it really is an exciting vehicle. They did a really good job with it. Let's see. But also it's a $27,000 for the base model, or what's the pricing for the Bronco 2021? Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, it may be 28 or 29, but maybe you're right. It is 27 for the two-door base Bronco. And then if you get the 4-door, I think it's like $3,000 or $4,000 more expensive. So if you're looking at the base model with the 4-door, you're probably in the low 30s. Then if you upgrade to the Big Bend, that one starts around 35,000 or 33,000 for the 2-door. And then for the 4-door, it jumps up to like 37. So without any options, this one was around 37,000 for the Big Bend in the 4-door. And then I had a few options that I added on top of that, just the bare kind of minimums for me. And that's the mid package is what I have. And that added a few $1,000. And I'll talk about the exact pricing in another video, but overall low 40s is what mine is. But it can go up. I think TFL's first edition Bronco is like $67,000. So it's a lot. Now what's nice is you can get the base Bronco with the Sasquatch package, which I think is $5,000. It may be closer to $7,000. But if you get that option on the base, you're looking at $35,000, $36,000 for the 2-door version. And you have a really capable SUV. I mean, you've got lockers, you've got trail turn assist, everything you need for an off-road trail. But you don't have any of the, like the leather seats or anything that you don't really need for an off-road vehicle. So that's kind of cool that they do that. Let's see. Been looking into switching over to a Challenger Scat Pack, mainly as far as purchasing a Scat Pack. Do you recommend new, used, off the lot, or used private seller? And what are some pros about it? Caden, good question. It would be interesting to see you going from a Charger to a Challenger. I'd like to see that. But, I've done pretty much both, all three of those. Aside from buying it used off of the lot. I purchased the Hellcat new from a dealership, and then my Scat Pack was purchased used off a private party. I think the advantages to buying it used off a private party is you probably can get a better price from it. And there's probably more selection just because there's more private parties than there are dealerships. Mine, when I was looking for my gray Scat Pack, I looked at new, used, and everything. And the gray one I found just happened to be used. And the transaction was seamless. The guy came down from Idaho. It all worked out really well. And what's nice is I recommend buying used, at least in a normal market, maybe not in today's world, but in a normal market. The first owner or the second owner, whoever, they take the hit on the depreciation. And so you pretty much get more equity in the car as you start paying it down if you're financing it. And so I prefer used. The reason I didn't on the Hellcat is because I was able to get a better deal on a new than I was on the used car. And so that's why I kind of switched around. But I think used is the way to go. Just, maybe 10, 15, 20,000 miles. Your car is like brand new. But you don't take the hit on the depreciation. Now, buying new off the lot is nice because, you could probably get some current new incentives from the manufacturer. On used cars, there's no incentives from, Dodge or whoever you're buying it from. The only incentive would be from the dealership you're buying. So it may be even cheaper to buy a new car from a dealership because they have incentives versus buying a used one. And I'm happy to talk about more of that, in a different time if we ever see each other again, which I'm sure we will. I just mean the next time we see each other. Gary Fuller, the Scat is a lot of fun, especially since I have a manual. Love banging through those gears with all that torque. I'm jealous, man. When I was looking for my gray Scat Pack, I was looking for a manual, and I just couldn't find one in the right trim with the shaker hood that I wanted. And so I still miss it. And the Hellcat, I debated on getting a manual, but there was like no inventory. I'd have to custom order it. It's very hard to buy a new manual transmission car. And so I'm jealous. I'd love to do that. I think I'm going to, at some point, buy some sort of manual car just to have fun with it, because there's something that's just special about those types of cars. When I did the video review on the Vanderhall, I really wanted it to have a manual transmission because it'd be really cool with a little speedster like that to be able to shift through the gears. And they just don't do that. But the Polaris Slingshot does. Let's see. Limitless Vlogs. He doesn't hate, he dislikes. I don't hate anything about the car. There's just some things that could be done better. Brian O'Shea, love Destroyer Gray with the blackout hood, Reb brake calipers, and the F6F designation on the side. Grumman F6F Hellcat. I don't know if I've seen that one, the F6F, but I do know the Destroyer Gray with some black accents and like the TA stripes or something with the hood pins. that color is just made for that type of color combination. It is gorgeous. Caden, the Scat Pack Challengers, what are some things you like about Challengers that the Chargers don't have? Unfortunately, the Chargers always come with like more features than the Challenger. If you're buying a new Hellcat, you cannot get cloth seats in the Hellcat Charger, and yet the base Challenger comes with cloth seats. And there's other like features, like I think memory seats are available on the Charger. You cannot get memory seats on the Challenger, and so I feel like in terms of engine choices, the Challenger always gets it first. But in terms of amenities and like bang for your buck, the Chargers always get things better, or they get things first. And so I don't know if there's anything I can really point out that the Challenger does better. In my opinion, it's all looks. And I just love the retro look. I think the Chargers look really nice, especially yours is the mid 2000s, like 2014, 13. I think that aggressive look is arguably even better than the current generation because they just look so muscular. But I think the Challenger just has that more retro look, and that's probably the main advantage. I also prefer the interior of the Challengers because it's more centered towards the driver versus on the Charger, it's kind of just like a regular interior. But again, those are looks, those are all subjective. So yeah, kind of, whatever you prefer, but Charger usually has more features. Augustin Lara, hopefully I said your name right. I like your channel, bro. Good job. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Like always, I'm up for constructive criticism to do things better, to bring more content that you guys enjoy. But hopefully you guys are enjoying it so far. Let's see. Brian O'Shea. Ooh, not pre-wire for future hardtop. Going to cost extra to get that rear windshield working. Yeah, for sure, man. It's hopefully that remote start heats up the interior enough that it melts the snow. But I'm not too worried about it because I'm used to having to clean off my car from snow every single time that it snows out here. So it's not too bad. But yeah, it's gonna either have to be pre-wired or I'm going to have to wipe off the snow. So it's a bummer they didn't include that from the get-go. Chris Nordland just ordered a Scat Pack TA Granite Crystal. Beautiful color. In Canada, where I'm from, it's a 6-month wait at the moment. So it'll be a 2022 model. Interesting. That's the first I've heard of that. So first off, thanks for joining this chat. 6 months is quite a bit, but I don't even think that has to do with you being in Canada, because I think the cars are built in Canada. That's probably what it looks like now with the chip shortages and the supply issues. So 6 months, a while to wait for a new car. So that's why people are paying premiums on inventory that's already out there. But it's going to be worth the wait, man. That Granite Crystal is a beautiful color. It just kind of has this old muscle car look to it. And you're going to enjoy it. Plus, it's 2022. You're going to have one of the earliest 2022 model years. That's going to be really fun. Brian O'Shea, no, sorry for confusion. Buying a Challenger, gray with a black top, I'm guessing. I got you. Sorry, not the Bronco, but the Challenger. Very good. Let me know what engine size. Are you doing the Scat Pack, the 5.7, the Hellcat? Let me know, because they're all really cool cars, but just curious. Abatu, appreciate the info. Just subscribe. Dodge family forever, but maybe I'll break it for the Bronco. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I mean, yeah, this sounds like this channel's made for you. We got both the Dodge and the Ford. Maybe in the future we'll add a Chevy. I have hinted at a car that I used to love. It was a Chevy. I will, I guess, give you that teaser. If I find one at the right price, I would love to buy one, but probably not in the next year or two. So that way we'd have all three manufacturers. Let's see. Limitless Vlogs. Were you at a Red Hanger on Saturday, or was that another Hellraisin wide body Challenger? I don't think I was. I filmed some videos in random places, but the last time I was near that, probably a Red Hanger, it was in the Bronco when I was filming the hate video. So that must be somebody else. There is another Hellraisin Challenger that I've seen, and for a moment I thought they stole my car, because theft is on the rise for these cars, but they still had the yellow protector on the front, so I was glad that was not my car, but it must have been somebody else. I think I've only seen one other Hellraisin wide body Challenger here in the state of Utah. I'm sure there's more than that, but Caden Dyer, hey, I'm a Challenger fan at heart. Have always loved the Challengers a little bit better than the Chargers, but love the Charger though too. Then you got to pull the trigger on the Challenger, man. You gotta go for it, especially if you don't need the back seats, for the time being. Might as well go for the Challenger, because there's a, I don't know, it has a special place in my heart because of the way it looks. It's just so cool looking. Let's see, Abba2, my bell's on for the next video about the Bronco. Thanks, my man. I guess I'll tell you what it is. It's going to be 6 things I love about my Bronco. And that's coming out tomorrow, 12 p.m. my time here in Utah. And there's some like unique things. I'm not talking about off-roading. I'm not talking about like, the capabilities of this car. It's some little kind of things that are maybe not so mentioned in other videos. And it's going to be a pretty interesting video. But I do plan on taking this car more off-road. The video I did a couple weeks ago, that wasn't really an off-road trail. It was just kind of a dirt path. It had some rocks, and I would never personally take my Challenger or my RAV on that road, even though there were some people, scraping the bottom of their cars on this trail. But that was just kind of a test to, just because me and my fiance wanted to just hit a trail. And so I decided to make a video about it. But there will be some more extreme, I should say, off-roading than that video. So stay tuned. Marty Davis, I'm hoping they give us the Hellcat with the shaker hood and the wide body. I know, man, that's as silly as it sounds, that was one of the things holding me back for a long time from getting a Hellcat. Was I love the shaker hood. And that could be why that my gray Scat Pack still holds a special place in my heart, is that shaker just looks so old school and so cool looking. And it actually shakes as you're driving down the road. If anybody's contemplating whether they should get a shaker or not, go for it. If that's not one of the things you want on the car, that's totally fine. But if you're debating, I would say go for the shaker. It's just such a cool touch to it. And I wish they did. But the supercharger is sitting right where the shaker would be. And the air inlet is in a different space. So I'm sure the hood would have to be lifted probably quite a bit to be able to fit a shaker hood, in which case you can't really see through the front windshield. Caden, top 3 goals for your channel you hope to achieve before the end of 2021? That's a good question, man. So one of the goals was 10,000 subs, which thankfully to all of you guys, we surpassed back in, I want to say March or April. The second goal was to take delivery of the Bronco. I was really excited about that. That is done. The third goal, I don't know if I have one yet. And I talked about it in the video at the end of last year. I would obviously love to grow the channel. I am really excited to do the SRT track experience. And that's not really a channel goal, I guess, but that's an exciting goal for myself. That's going to be happening at the end of October. I'm actually going to be in Phoenix doing the SRT track experience. I think PBR Doug recommended it back when I first took delivery of my Hellcat. That's going to be really fun. And I plan to make as much as I can. If I can bring my camera into the car and set it up, we'll see how they let me do that. But I plan to make a video about that experience. And that's going to be really fun. I'm really excited for that because I get to actually test the limits of the Hellcat on a track. And unfortunately, the drag strip around here has closed down. I haven't taken it to our track here in Utah, but I kind of feel bad about the brakes and the tires and beating the car. Whereas the SRT track experience is not going to be my vehicle, so I can beat it up all day long because that's what they have the cars for. So I'm really excited about that. And, I guess a goal for the channel is to maybe hit 15,000 subs would be cool before end of the year. But mainly just continue to make more and more videos. So hopefully that answers your question or your comment. Brian O'Shea, buying a Hellcat, my man, debating new or used, wide body or not. Gray blackout hood, red braid calipers is the goal. Was debating on putting an F6F stencil. That's always something you can add later. That's what's cool about it. You don't need to get that from, I don't think they sell that from the factory, but either way, that's not something you have to decide at first. But, Hellcat, fantastic car. Debating new or used, I guess depends on the deal, and wide body or not, it depends on what you want aesthetically. I do think the wide body does make a little bit of a difference in terms of how it handles and just kind of the more unique look to it, because there's not as many wide bodies right now as there are narrow bodies. But I get it. Some people prefer the old school look with just, the regular lines, seeing as how the wide body is a little bit odd because it kind of just, they stick on some fender flares and call it a wide body, but it is more than that. And I've talked about that in previous videos, but good luck, man. Once you get it, I don't know if you have an Instagram or anything, but once you get it, somehow send me a photo because I want to see it. On the side for the Grumman Hellcat fighter plane. That will be really cool, man. I think you should, because I haven't seen that anywhere else. shaker hoods are bad, and I would say it, but I don't want to be blocked on YouTube, but they are. I 100% agree. Shaker hoods are BA for sure. Marty Davis, and they need to bring back Destroyer Gray. They do. I was upset when they got rid of it. I was also upset when they got rid of Plum Crazy Purple. I wish those were two colors that still existed, although Hellraisin is a really cool color, but I think they don't have the B5 blue anymore. They replaced that with the Frostbite. They have the Smoke Show, which I think is being replaced by another color. So I wish they just had all these colors available because they're really cool, but I guess it incentivizes people to upgrade and try different things. Limitless Vlogs, they need to bring back Plum Crazy. That's exactly what I just said. Awesome. Yeah, my family split, went from Ford to Dodge. My uncle went from the Ford 2015 Power Stroke, great vehicle, due to some engine problems. Oh, sorry to hear that. Then my pops convinced my uncle to get a 2020 Dodge Ram 3500 Cummins all-white Mega. Let me know which one you prefer. Is it the Power Stroke or the 3500 Ram? They do some really amazing things on that Ram. It's such a cool looking car inside and out. I like Ford, but I think Ram has maybe the one up in terms of the interior and exterior looks of the Rams. Let's see, Marty Davis. When you see the motor move from the driver's seat, game over. Yeah, exactly, man. The shaker hood is just I love it, and I'm very impartial to it. Brian O'Shea, SRT track experience would be a great video. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I really hope they are okay with me bringing my camera. Either way, I'll have my fiance there filming it from the side, filming the car. But hopefully, I can actually like hook up the track, hook up the GoPro to the car so you can see the track. That'll be cool. Any YouTube collabs you have planned or hope to collab with in the future? Well, there are some. There's an individual, I think Justin McBride, who is going to take delivery of the Bronco. I think he has a Wrangler right now. It would be cool to collab with him. I haven't ever reached out to him to kind of make that introduction, but I may in the future. Obviously, the Stradman would be pretty awesome, but he is a much bigger YouTuber by in every aspect, so I doubt that would ever happen. But if there's anybody who would ever be interested in collabing, I would love to. I like to bring in local small businesses on the channel. And so when I did the paint protection film and the window tint, I went to a small business here. When I did the ceramic coating, Black Hawk Polishing did a fantastic job. I'm actually going to have him do the Bronco as well, and I'll make a video about that. I really recommend the ceramic coating. I was one of the doubters before I got it done on my Hellcat, and so I'm going to have him do the same thing. I just got to get maybe a decal or two put on the car before I make that happen. But yeah, in terms of collaborations, other YouTubers here in Utah, I think there's one other individual aside from the Stradman, and maybe I'd collab with him. I think he has a Ram TRX, but he does more like car reviews. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. Gary Fuller, Plum Crazy was really cool. Also like the Cinnamon Stick. Yeah, Cinnamon Stick is a really cool color. I love that one, and I really love the Gold Rush. And I was on the Dodge website the other day. I thought Gold Rush was reserved for the 50th anniversary, and I guess they brought it back for 2021. You can get the Gold Rush color on, I think, any Dodge, at least Scat Pack and above. And that is a really cool color too. I've yet to see one in person. It's got this like yellow, cool metallic flake. Actually, I lied. I did see one at the LA Auto Show. It was the 50th anniversary edition, but I don't think I was able to come up close to it. It was behind a rope, but I've never seen one on the road. So that's a cool color. Limitless Vlogs, I could try to hook you up with James. No promises, though. I know you've met him before, man. Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. We do different types of content, and at every single car show that I've been at where he's at, he's always just swamped with a bunch of people. And he's on a totally different ball game than I'm at. But if it comes across, that'd be awesome. Gary Fuller, Dodge always had the best colors and names for those colors. They really do. Like, even Go Mango, Go Man Go, Destroyer Gray, Hellraisin. Those are some of the coolest names. And in my opinion, the marketing the Dodge has is like above all the others. The others have to play catch up because they built a brand on just, being BA and being awesome. And it sells. Their vehicles are selling like crazy. Let's see, Limitless Vlogs. There's another Utah YouTuber, Bugs BMX. He has around 150,000 ish. He's in Ogden. I never heard of him. That's good to know. Maybe I'll come across him or reach out to him and see. That's interesting. I wonder what kind of content he does. I'm guessing off-road, off-road stuff, but let me know. But man, it has been a good live stream. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining. It's good to see some of your guys' names, from the comments. It's nice to interact with you, over these types of live stream videos. So I try to do these at least once a month, and it's fun to connect with all of you. Marty Davis, have you tried drag radials on the Hellcat? Not yet, but I have highly considered getting them because I was gonna wait until these wear out, even though I wouldn't, have the drag radials on every single day. But I was gonna probably wait until these wear out, maybe get some cheap wheels, and then get some drag radials as well. Um, I would probably buy them if I was to go to a drag strip, and I have yet to get to a drag strip. The closest one I think is an eighth of a mile track in Wyoming, and then there's a quarter mile track, obviously in Vegas, and that would probably be the closest quarter mile track. So I haven't really had the opportunity to get drag radials because there's no place for me to race them. But when I do make plans to go to a drag strip, I will probably buy maybe some. I don't know if I'll go for a full drag radial, or I hear the Nitto 555. They're kind of like a semi drag radial, if my understanding is correct. And maybe I'll try the Nitto 555s and see how it does before I go to like a Mickey Thompson, drag radial tire, because I think at that point I'd probably have to get a smaller rim. And that adds complexity with the Brembos in the back. Not that you can't do it, but it would probably add complexity. Gary Fuller, later, have a good one. Gary, thank you for joining. I appreciate the super chat, and have a good night, my man. Thanks for joining. I'll see you at the next one. Limitless Vlogs, he does SEMA stuff, had a Gallardo. Interesting. Okay. I guess every big YouTuber has at some point had a Gallardo, and that's how they made it. Let's see. Marty Davis, have you thought about 15 millimeter spacers to kick the tires out just a little? Let me know if you're talking about the Hellcat or the Bronco. I did think about putting spacers on the Scat Pack back when I had it, just to get a little bit more beef. But I haven't. On this one, I think it looks pretty decent without it. I could probably add some and add a little bit of width to it, but I probably won't do that. I guess it depends on what you prefer aesthetically. I don't think I would get much stuff in terms of like handling or anything like that. It would just be aesthetic. And at that point, I think I'm okay with how it looks. Brian O'Shea, good night. It is midnight here, and some of us have retirement stuff to do tomorrow. Thanks so much, my man. I really appreciate you joining, and thanks for watching all the videos. I really appreciate it. And once you get your Hellcat, man, let me know, because I'd love to see it. Hellcat spacers. Yeah, thanks for clarifying, Marty. No, I don't think I will add those in the future. I may add spacers to the Bronco to add some width to the tire, to the wheels, depending on what tire and wheel setup I go for. I want to probably go for I want to fit 35s, and mine's not a Sasquatch, but I hear if you take off the crash bars, you can get 35-inch wheels on the base. I guess it's not a base, but the non-Sasquatch Bronco. And if I do 35s, I'm probably going to try to go with a 275, maybe a 285 wide tire. And hopefully that sticks out enough, because I definitely want it to stick out just a little bit. I think it adds protection if you're going off-road anyways. So I may add that. I don't think I'll add some on the Hellcat, but I have considered it on previous cars. Even my previous Mercedes C300, I wanted to add spacers to get a little bit of width. But then you might risk rubbing if you're going over bumps. Appreciate you, man, putting the hood pins in this week because of you. Marty Davis, hey man, thank you so much. It's scarier than it actually is. The thought of drilling through your hood is very scary. I can't remember if you're the individual that watched my video and said that you drilled through the trunk of your car to add maybe a spoiler. Maybe I'm confusing you with somebody else, but if that was you, so you already have experience drilling through something, and just keep that drill straight and go through it, and I'm sure you'll be okay. The nice thing is the hood pins, I think all of them are, but depending on which one you got, they're a little bit bendable. So if for some reason the hole doesn't line up exactly in the center, you can bend the hood pins and get them, they're not going to be noticeably bent, but that way you can still lower the hood and you should be fine. So good luck. Let me know how that goes. If you have an Insta, definitely, hit me up and let me know how it goes. So you are the only one on the internet with a real installation video of hood pins. So love the content. Thank you. I'm glad I helped. I can't take full credit for it. I did enlist my dad for the help to drill through the hood. But I think now that I've done it on 2 cars, or I've watched him do it on 2 cars, I will eventually do it on the Hellcat. I just got to get the guts to do it, and I'll probably try doing it myself this time. So Let's see. Going on the cruise this weekend with Salt City Mopars, Caden. I'll have to look it up. Is this the Lotto cruise? If it is, I'm going to try my best to do it. I missed the last event, but we'll see. Hopefully, I can join. We're planning for our wedding here coming up in September. So every weekend has some sort of hectic thing as we're planning the last few things before our wedding. And so that's why I couldn't make the last event. So if everything is good, I plan to join. Otherwise, I may have to skip this one. It's the Lotto run. Okay, so I'll do my best to make that one. I think that'll be fun. If it's Saturday, though, it might be difficult. Marty Davis, do you think about powder coating the spikes on the hood pins? Good question. I don't know. I guess it depends on what color combo is your vehicle. Maybe you mentioned it earlier. If you think, having like a black powder coat would look really cool, go for it. I didn't consider doing that on my Scat Pack, even though I think the black would look cool with the Destroyer gray paint. I think the chrome looked pretty nice too. It's not like super shiny, and it doesn't really contrast too much. My concern is if you do powder coat it like a black color, it may not stand out. So you may not be noticeable that you have hood pins as much as if you left it chrome. So I didn't consider it, but you can. I have considered powder coating my wheels though, to make them actually a gloss black color rather than having them. They're like a semi-gloss. And I don't know if I love the look of it. I'm trying to show you on the screen. So as you can see there, I wish they were a little bit shinier. I really like the glossy color that they have on some of the rims that come with the Hellcat. So I have considered doing something like that for that, but not on my hood pins. Black on black with a matte hood and trunk. I wrapped it myself. Nice job, man. You got guts. Because every time I've worked with a vinyl wrap, it's always just been horrible. I mean, it's always something's gonna crease and I can't fix it. So good for you. I would recommend almost keeping it then chrome, just because if you have the black on black hood, if you have the black hood pins, it may not be noticeable. And I think when you do hood pins, you want them to stand out a little bit. So maybe if you were to do like, I don't know, a red or something different, I think that'd be good, but I'd probably keep them stock. But that obviously it's your car, man. That it may look great with black. I just haven't seen that done on a car that's specced out like yours. Was going to match the calipers. Looks like red horns for the Scat Pack. Oh, okay. So red, that's kind of what I mentioned earlier. That would look pretty cool. It would definitely look pretty custom, and it would look like horns on the Scat Pack. I have not seen that done before. So you'd be one of the first. I think if that's what you're thinking about doing, maybe go for it. That would look cool with matching the red calipers. And I don't know if you have any air inlet tubes. So on my Scat Pack, the headlight, I'm trying to get it here. The headlights have, that they have a hole for the air intake if you have a Hellcat, but the Scat Packs are just hollowed out and they have a plastic cap on them. And November or December of 2019, I made a video where I installed illuminated headlight tubes. And I guess you get to control them with your phone, and you can change the colors. And if you have, the illuminated headlight tubes in red, the red hood pins and the red brake calipers, I think that would look really cool. And Caden, you said it's on Sunday. Congrats again, though. Happy for both of you. David had a trivia question at Saratoga, and it was, who am I? And I had one clue has a YouTube channel. So Josh won that question. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Thank you again. Yeah, we are very excited. We're, near the home stretch in terms of planning the wedding, but I think Sunday I might be able to make that work. Saturday would most likely a no, but Sunday I could probably make that work. So hopefully I'll see you on the Lotto cruise. I'll buy some lottery tickets, and then with that I will buy a Bronco and do a giveaway on the channel. So that'd be awesome. The 2021 has the tubes. Saw it. Love the lights in the shaker. Haven't had the guts to try it though. Yeah, one thing that kind of upsets me about the Hellcat is it comes with the illuminated headlight tubes already, and I don't think I can add like another set. So I'm kind of stuck with the white color, or I don't know, whatever color that comes stock with the car. I wish they gave some functionality to be able to change the lights, but obviously that's not legal to drive down the road with red or blue lights. But that's one thing I miss about the Scat Pack was being able to customize that feature. And then the lights in the shaker. Yeah, some people thought it was, kind of trashy, I guess, but I liked it. I thought it was fun. I'm a sucker for fun lights. That's why I put lights in the grill of my Hellcat. And it was really fun. Did I use it that often? Probably not. Like most of the time I drove with them off. Or no, I should say I did have them on, but I didn't play around with the colors. I just had them as white, just to match the headlight tubes and the headlights. But it's cool if you're at a car show at night and you get to play around with all the different modes. So let's see. Caden Dyer, Marty Davis, be careful with hood pins. I have them on my Charger. Over time, they have scratched up the paint on my hood, switching to the Aero Catch hood pins. Don't know how the Challenger's hood pins hold up. Yeah, so me and Caden did talk about that, the hood pins over time may scratch the paint, and not the hood pins themselves, but the wire. It's going to be rubbing. It's going to be sitting on the hood of the car and rubbing as you're driving down the road. And that could cause scratches to the clear coat. The Mopar OEM part comes with a nice plastic protector. Oh, awesome, man. There you go. So, if you either have that or maybe if you had a paint protection film, although Caden, you said there is another individual in our Salt City Mopar group that has paint protection and they had the hood pins and it's still scratched through it. So, the things we do for our cars, we're willing to sacrifice some things over another. But thanks for pointing that out, Caden. But Marty, looks like you have that all taken care of. So I'm excited to see it, man. You're going to love the hood pins. I can't wait to do the same thing on the Hellcat, but I don't even know if I'll make a video about it since you guys have seen it on the Scat Pack. But it's such a cool look. And every time I see it going through photos on Instagram, I'm like, man, why don't I do that on my car? And it's because I don't want to drill through the hood of the car just yet. I will. Maybe after it's a year old, I'll do that as a 1-year anniversary gift. FYI, 3M Vinyl 2080, superior product for wrapping. Good to know, man. I've heard 3M. I've heard there's another brand. Can't remember off the top of my head, that people liked a lot for doing vinyl wraps. Let me know, do you do a wet application or is it dry? Like when I did the taillight divider decal on the Hellcat, I did a wet and dry installation, and what I'm confused about, maybe you can clarify, can you do all of the vinyl in wet application, or are certain types of vinyl have to be dry application? I'd be curious to know. Caden Dyer, they are nice to have, they are nice to have, though, having a secondary safety feature for the hood, for sure, especially at high speeds. That's for sure. Marty Davis, dry. Okay, that's even more challenging because I feel like a wet application makes it a lot easier, but I've only done it a couple times on very small areas. So that's good to know. But we'll probably wrap up today's live stream. Thank you all for joining. I mean, it's been a blast. I did not expect as many people as there are to join on today's chat. It was kind of impromptu. I was actually going to meet somebody, or somebody was going to meet me for my Toyota RAV4 that's for sale, and they decided to bail. So I figured, well, what better time? I have the time available. Let's do a live stream. Let's talk about cars. So thank you all for joining. Hopefully I'll do another one probably in the next few weeks, maybe early September. And then, stay tuned for tomorrow's video. And then I'll most likely have another video on Friday. So Brandon P., nice chat. Thanks so much for joining, man. I appreciate it. I'm sure you've been watching the video, but just haven't had a chance to comment. So thanks for joining. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful Monday. I know some of you are in a very late time zone. Got to go. Have a good night, brother. Keep up the grind. 100. Stay Schwazy. I appreciate it, Caden. Thanks so much. And hopefully I'll catch you at the Lotto Cruise next Sunday. That'll be really fun. I'll send you pics on the gram. Thanks for the chat. Have a great night. I'm excited to see it, man. Send me photos of your car. I love seeing my subscribers and fans photos because there's some really cool cars out there, and it gives me ideas too. So send them my way. But hopefully you guys all have a good night and stay Schwazy, stay healthy, and have a wonderful evening. Take it easy.